Welcome back to The Art of Hobbiness. I'm Erin, joined by my lovely co-host, Tam.
Me!
Yay! And today we have a hobby episode.
Yes!
Very excited to talk about one of Tam's new hobbies. I'm very curious as to how you chose this hobby. So Tam decided to tackle the making a pavlova.
The art of making a pavlova.
The art of making a pavlova, which I had to look up what that was. So why don't you go ahead and tell our audience first, what is a pavlova?
Oh, well.
If you don't know, I actually have a definition here.
Let's start with the definition.
So a pavlova is a dessert, which I did know that.
Yes.
But it's made from crispy meringue shell with a soft marshmallow-like interior. And it's usually topped with whipped cream, fresh fruit, like berries, things like that. And just random fact that I found on the internet that it was named after a ballerina named Anna Pavlova.
No way.
Yeah.
Thank you for educating me on my recent hobby.
Tam, you're not usually a baker, so
No.
what made you say, like, I'm going to just hop on and try a really difficult thing, a pavlova?
Yeah. Well, okay. So, as you know, I recently took a trip to France.
Yes.
And had some of the best meals I've ever had. And there is one particular dessert that I had that I just cannot stop thinking about, and I really wanted to have it again.
Oh, okay.
It's not pavlova, actually. It was this chocolate dessert that was actually a cookie that was perfectly cooked, Erin. It wasn't too hard, it wasn't too soft, and it had this chocolate hazelnut crust around it, and then on top of it was this dome of chocolate ganache that when you kind of tapped on it had a little crack to it, and it was just perfect textures and amazingness.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, except I can't find
what it was,
or the recipe of what it was, and so I was like, well, maybe I can try to make something else I had there. And pavlova was one that I tried.
Okay.
It was on a menu. It's something I'd never had before.
Yeah.
And, my kids are always, watching Bluey. And, there's an episode where they eat pavlova in there.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to try pavlova. I mean, it's okay.
So how did it go? Did it turn out to be anything like what you expected?
I mean, it was fine.
Walk me through the process. How does one make a pavlova?
Well, first, initially, I assumed based off of my initial looking for recipes, I just needed a bunch of egg whites and then just to separate those, right? And it looked like it was a type of recipe that because Pat, he's a cook, he's a chef, he's a baker. So he's got so many ingredients in our pantry that I was surely I have the ingredients for this. So it was a wild hair, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to go for. And I had my mindset that day that I was making that, except for I don't have all the ingredients. It's not just egg whites and sugar, but it also had cream of tartar, which was an adventure in itself because, I took my youngest with me to the grocery store, and I am searching all over the dairy aisle for cream of tartar, and I cannot find it anywhere. And so, thankfully, this wonderful lady who clearly sees me distraught, and I tell her what I'm looking for, and she's like, "Oh, no, you want to go to the spices?" Alert. So I was like, dang it. So silly. So she led me right to it, and she knew exactly what it looked like. So this must be a very common ingredient. Did you know what cream of tartar is? No, Erin. No. Okay. Well, so I had no idea. Never heard of this ingredient in my life. Definitely thought it was literal cream.
Yeah.
It's not. So got those ingredients, get home. It's telling me to, just put it all in a mixer or a blender, but I keep calling it a blender, and Pat's really confused why I need a blender.
Oh.
And I was like, I need a blender. I need to blend it. And he's like, are you sure you don't need a mixer? So learn the differences between those two things. Question for you.
Yeah.
Do you recall... Do you recall Netflix used to have a show, and I think it actually came out during the pandemic.
Great British Baking Show?
No!
Go ahead. What was it? Because they definitely made this on
They
there.
definitely made pavlova.
Yeah.
I definitely watched the episode for inspiration. Which it was kind of made me feel better that like these guys were like cracking under the pressure.
Yeah.
But remember, like they are literally trying to do this in like a competitive way, whereas I was like laissez-faire and it'll get there throughout the night. No, there was actually a cooking show called Cooking with Paris.
Oh, okay.
Paris Hilton.
Oh, really?
Did you
I've
not
never
watch
heard
it?
of that. No. Nice. I bet that was right.
So during the pandemic, there was a show called Cooking with Paris. For anybody who didn't see it, it existed, and I think it only lasted like 4 episodes. Like I don't think it really ever launched off the ground, and it was so comical of a show to me because I even remember at the time watching it being like, if I ever had a cooking show, this is probably exactly how it would be. But it's just very much like, you know, she's just there for the aesthetic and she's super cute and polished. And like, I'm fairly certain. I remember there was a scenario in which she, and I could be making this up, but I feel like it was probably a blender situation where they were like, you need to get a blender. And she's like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And like the meals that she was making was like cheeseburgers or like something silly.
So she
like
was the one doing the cooking?
And so she'd have like special guests on her show and like they would cook with her. But it was just so like, honestly, it was the first time in my, like Paris Hilton is very iconic for a generation.
Definitely.
It was the first time in my life where I was like, maybe Paris and I do have some things in common. So I feel like that was very much the vibe of what this was. It was very much like I like was trying to make this like cutesy, like pretend like I was on this cooking show situation, but like I just kept feeling more stupid.
Oh, damn.
Trying to get through it. And I was like, dang it. But anyway, so I was able to pull.
Did you end up blending it or mixing it?
I mixed it.
Okay, great. Okay.
But like also though, to the point of that, like, so the mixer's doing all the work.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I guess while I'm waiting for these eggs to beat, I'll get a glass of wine. So like, got a glass of wine, just kind of sat back and watched it. So like, as far as like beginner levels go, like that was pretty nice that like literally the tools there were doing all the work for me.
Right.
But then at the same time, I was just kind of like, well, what do you say I'm doing in here? Like, what's the point of me being here?
But then don't you have to bake it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
after that, after it's meringue, like turned into a meringue, you bake it?
Yes.
Okay.
So put that in the oven really low. And then actually the recipe that I had followed was like just leave it in the oven overnight after it cooks and then just wake up in the morning and then you can, when you're ready to eat, just prepare, but try to do it within that 24 hours.
I would never consider it for breakfast, but I guess it's
I
got
know. Well, I didn't have it for breakfast, but it was just like you didn't have to worry. Like it was.
You have to eat it immediately.
Yeah, they suggested that you needed to like because you can't just once it's done cooking pull it out of the oven because I guess that's what makes it like crack and kind of fall apart.
Okay.
Like it has to like gradually come down to room temperature. So the recipe that I followed was like, just leave it in the oven, just turn the oven off after it technically cooks for its time, and then just let it go all night long. Okay. By the time you get in the morning, you should be fine. So then I learned how to make, chantilly cream, which again is just the mixer doing all of the work for me. Like literally the only thing I feel like I did was I separated yolk from egg whites, which is a tough little skill.
Yeah.
And then I cut up a couple of strawberries and sprinkled some blueberries on it.
Did it turn out like kind of what it's supposed to look like? And
it looked really cool, right? It looked exactly like how it was supposed to look. But I'll tell you, like my teeth were literally vibrating, Aaron, after I took a bite of it because of so much sugar in the meringue. Like I think the recipe I had put like a cup and a half of sugar in there.
That's more than I would have expected.
Teeth were literally vibrating from like a half of a slice. I just couldn't do it. So am I impressed by making a pavlova as far as my skill set? No. Like it wasn't like I feel like if you were to ask me if I failed or succeeded in this task, I would say I succeeded. I feel like I created a pavlova. I did it.
Yeah.
Did I enjoy it? No.
You feel like because it wasn't challenging enough?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't challenging me. Maybe it wasn't.
It didn't feel a little bit fulfilling to like serve that to your family, or it just didn't. Just didn't do it for you.
No. I mean, I was impressed that I did it, and I was like, well, that was a cool party trick, and maybe that's what I'll save it for. It's just a party trick where someone is like, hey, bring a dessert. I'm like, I'm about to rock your world with dessert. And then be like, Tamara pulled a pavlova out of nowhere. Did you know she makes?
I actually didn't know pavlova was so simple. I actually would have thought it'd be a lot.
No.
more challenging.
No, it was like, it's so simple, a Tam can do it.
Right.
Like, it was
That's
really
good.
just,
That's good.
I don't know. So
Did your family enjoy it? Did they all try it? They liked it?
Absolutely. Everyone loved, I mean, how could they not?
Yeah,
There's so
just
much
sugar. Just sugar, pretty much. Yeah.
Sugar, and then
Whipped
cream like on it, and then like fruit. Like, honestly, the fruit was the best part to me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is refreshing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my teeth were vibrating after the fact.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Did you feel like you'll make it again? Or, I mean, other than a party trick?
Yeah, I was going to say, I just think it's just going to be a party trick that I have in my hat. But like, I don't see myself volunteering that party trick. That's going to be something I'm going to pull out where somebody is like, hey, can you bring something? And Pat's not available to make it for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, dang it. Guess I'm going to go find some more cream of tartar.
Well, it sounds like it's probably a really good recipe for busy moms, busy people,
absolutely.
So that's good.
Can absolutely fully say that, yes, if you are a busy mom and you're like, I don't know, I just want to look like I know what I'm talking about, pull out a Pavlova. I literally just went to Pinterest and just looked up a couple of recipes and then just tried to find which one had the least amount of ingredients.
Yeah. Oh, there's some that are more complicated?
There are some that have like there's like variations as far as it goes. I just felt like I said, I just tried whichever one was easiest for me.
Sure.
And then I tell my father-in-law, who is also like a chef and a baker, and he was like, don't give up on it. Like, he was really trying to be so supportive. So he actually encouraged me to collaborate with him on a pie.
Oh.
And it was
you guys did this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we did a cream cheese meringue pie. He's like, what if you just went the meringue route? Maybe you would enjoy being a part of that, where it's still doing that meringue piece without having to wait for it to cook like that long and then like go into the next part of it. Again, still so just not interested.
Yeah.
And it's just, Erin, I'm just not a woman for the kitchen.
I was going to ask you if this inspired you to continue baking, but I think you already answered that question.
I'm here for the aesthetic.
Yeah.
I love to be an accessory to the kitchen.
The receiving end.
I love to be on the receiving end. I love to be the person that, like, while my husband's in the kitchen cooking and baking, I love to be the person that's got the wine that's just like, and then this is what happened today. And then this is what happened. Of course I'll taste test that for you. That's about the extent of...
Do you think it's because you just, don't want to have to focus on it so much? Or what is it that you think is a hindrance to you wanting to bake? Or I'm not sure.
Honestly, I think it's just lack of interest.
Yeah.
Like I said, the recipe I did was not incredibly... The mixer, it is a mixer, not blender, did all of the work for me. Yeah. And honestly, I'm going to be fully honest with all of you, I didn't even separate the egg whites from the egg yolk. I had my 5-year-old or my 6-year-old do it. Yeah, and she's phenomenal.
Nice. Well, that's cool.
I literally just... Did
they get into the process with you? Did they?
June has really gotten into being into the kitchen.
That's
like,
great.
she's really liking the cooking. She's really liking the baking, which I see as an opportunity, right? Like, I need her to really, embrace that and take off with it, because then when Pat's not there and I'm like, sorry, guys, it's takeout tonight, then I can be like, June, we're all going to starve if you don't feed us. Get in the kitchen. That is, it's not, I'll say that it was validating, and knowing that, given a recipe and some time, I really feel like I could learn how to cook.
Yeah, but you just don't want to.
There is just no interest. It is not my interest.
Not to dive too deep into this, but did you grow up with having any adults that cooked that were role models for you?
Oh, yeah.
Or you just never were interested, or?
I mean, I grew up with women always being in the kitchen, so I will say it's definitely a different level in my household where it's the man that does all the cooking, right? I've always grown, even my grandmother, when I would go visit her, she was in the kitchen the whole time, presenting food the whole time. So I would say there's that, seeing that there, but it was never a situation of where food was this big experience and there was this layers built around it. It was more just out of necessity, people need to eat. And so we're going to make sure people are fed, and we're making it with love. And that's about, where it was. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take that back a lot, actually, because I'm remembering I actually had a stepmother at one point in time that was a baker at a bakery. She actually owned a bakery. So I say all of that, and I'm like, no, I haven't had anybody give me any influence at all in the baking realm. She was a baker. She owned a bakery.
Wow.
It was like a donut and wedding cake type of business.
But it clearly didn't influence you.
Clearly did not influence me at all. If I'm sitting here going, nope, never had any of that in my life. And I remember being in the kitchen and like helping as a kid on the weekends.
Wow. Okay.
So like
I learned something new about you.
I just learned something new about myself. Kind of forgot about that. Maybe it was also just like disinteresting then. I just like tucked that into the back of my head. Right. She owned a bakery. And I had zero influence of that whatsoever. Yeah. Maybe seeing her slave away in the kitchen.
That's where my mind was going.
Made me be like, that's not for me.
If it wasn't a positive experience that you,
Yeah, so
you're done baking, probably.
Probably. Like, is it something that I'm like, I'm going to keep going? No. Yeah. But I will say what I am proud of myself of, and I do want to point this out to you because it was something that I'm kind of patting myself on the back for, is you and I talk about how we're fighting perfectionism all the time, right? And like, I also like feel like I have like a little bit of competitiveness in me, and I really like to compete about myself, like compete against myself and challenge myself. And I was very proud of myself for trying something once, recognizing that I truly didn't like it, and not trying to keep pushing it to make it happen. Because not only for myself, but like I have a podcast that I have to report like what I'm doing on. And I'm being perfectly honest with all of you. I did it once, and I'm claiming it as a hobby, and it was not for me.
Yeah, I think that's huge because like a year or two ago, that wouldn't have been the case, right?
No, I would have beat myself up.
Suffered through it. And tried to keep going. Yeah,
absolutely. So. Yeah, no, it was fine.
Nice. I'm actually inspired, even though you didn't like it, to try it because it sounds really simple.
It's incredibly
simple.
And
I typically like those kind of whipped creamy desserts.
Really?
So
I think you should.
I feel like I would try it. I feel like I could do
that.
I'll
give you the recipe that I pulled from Pinterest.
Yeah.
It was super easy. In fact, I can even put it on our episode description so people can find it as well.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea.
Super simple, super easy, and it was a favorite
non-starter
hobby.
for you.
Yeah, no, it's not
cool.
not a gateway hobby for baking.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Tam.
You're welcome.
Learned a little bit more about you, and I feel like I got a pretty good idea of how to make a pavlova and what that entails. So hopefully our listeners enjoyed that. Maybe inspired you to or not to try a pavlova.
It's so silly. It wasn't even my favorite dessert in France.
Right.
I was already on Plan B. From the get-go. Yeah. That's okay.
Well, maybe just have to go back to France.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today on the Art of Hobbiness.
Yes.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Art of Hobbiness. Be sure to leave a review and rating. And for a little extra Erin and Tam fun, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Pinterest for behind-the-scenes footage of our journey to find hobbiness.